So I'm here with one of the Battleborn engineers, Eric, who's gonna talk to me a little bit about their new heated battery. One challenge that you guys have with the batteries is that you can't recharge the lithium in the cold, which we saw from your previous test.
Yes.
And when we discharged the battery earlier, we couldn't have recharged that at 10 degrees, right?
Exactly.
But this battery has a heating element inside. Could you tell me a little bit about how this works?
All right, so what actually heats the cells is it's a unique material, has a positive temperature coefficient. And so the way it works is that the colder it gets, the more power it takes from the battery internally, and that'll heat up itself.
So how do you actually enable the heating of the battery itself?
All right, so the electronics actually needs a voltage signal, and the voltage signal is processed through this heat enable right here. And so when it sees a higher voltage, because you hook it up to 13 volts, it tricks on the system, and that'll activate the switch, which gives power to the actual material heating the battery itself.
So the battery's only going to draw energy when it's cold, right?
Yes, at 35 degrees, it will trigger on our heating material.
So if someone were to leave the heat enable on in warmer temperatures, you're not actually going to draw any energy from the battery.
No, the voltage signal is minuscule at max. Like you're looking at possibly like 0.2 milliamps, I think. It's really small.
And if you leave the heat enable on when you're expecting cold temperatures, it should just keep the battery at an optimal temperature so that it can charge at any time, right?
Yes, it'll keep it above 35. So it always stays charging and safe to charge.
And what if somebody were to forget to enable the heat and the battery did freeze and got really cold?
We've done studies where we've left our batteries in negative 15 degree temperatures, and we've hooked up the heat enable, and after a couple hours, it goes above 35 degrees and it's safe to charge again.
What is the difference between your heated battery and your regular? How can I tell the difference?
Oh,
they look almost the same.
It's literally just the heat enable.
This little thing right here.
Yeah, and so also if you notice, this is called a BB112. This is called a BB112H. It's our part number. H means heater because it can internally heat itself.
Got it. With regard to the heat battery, it can obviously function in really cold temperatures, but it would probably be beneficial if someone were actually to put it in an insulated compartment or insulate the battery itself, right? Would it help keep itself warmer then and use less energy?
Yeah, well, most people insulate their batteries anyway, but on the off chance you don't, these can do it themselves.
Yeah. What have you tested this battery down to?
Without insulation, we dropped it down to negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
And it's been able to warm
It's
itself
been able
back
to warm
up.
itself up. Not instantly, of course, because it's still frozen, but it'll slowly get to that safe temperature range.
That's a pretty extreme circumstance. Have you insulated one and done some tests with insulation as well?
Yes, and it's obviously a lot easier
Yeah.
to heat itself up because it's insulation. And you're not it's not permeating through and going straight into cold air.
Yeah.
So